In this video, I'm going to guide you through the Starstone Barrows Expedition, basically the level 35 dungeon for New World. Now this dungeon entrance is located in Everfall, so by the Everfall settlement, if you go to the south and the east, you'll see down here is the runes area and the Starstone Barrows here at recommended level 35. I do recommend that most of your party is at least 35 or higher. The higher the better, obviously, because then you'll get through it quicker. It does take between 40 minutes to an hour, depending on how much damage your team does. So the beginning of the expedition is pretty straightforward. You kind of run in a straight line fighting enemies along the way. These enemies are weak to weapons like the Warhammer, and I believe maybe even the Life Staff, if I recall, and they kind of have resistance to slashing damage, so like swords and hatchets don't really do too much damage, so just kind of focus them from behind so that you can hit them in their weak spots to do more damage if your DPS is struggling to kill the enemies. As you follow the path and you kill a bunch of these enemies, you'll get to a point where there's this bridge and there's the eye door that you obviously have to use your Azoth staff to open the door. You should be aware that this is sort of a mini-boss in the dungeon, one of the first ones that you will encounter, so this enemy is a little bit more difficult to defeat than others, but it shouldn't be too bad. Once you finish with that fight, you can open up the ancient Azoth sealed door. In this new room, you'll be heading up these stairs and you'll be fighting a bunch of enemies, and then you'll be taking a left once you're done here. It will be towards the entrance that has the 3 lasers that are high here that you need to lie down and crawl underneath by pressing Z on your keyboard. Along this path, you'll fight more enemies, and you'll see there's lasers that move up and down. Make sure you go underneath it when it goes up so that you don't get caught by it, because it does instantly kill you if it hits you. After that laser area, you'll see you'll enter a massive chamber here. Immediately here, you are going to jump to the left side over here, and you're going to follow the path that I'm taking over here. So I'm going to speed this up a bit so that you can follow my exact movements as I go here. Under this laser to the left, climb up through here, it's fine. Jump down to the right side here, you can go under this laser and around this path to get under there. And you're going to go through this moving one over here, and you're going to fight a little bit of an enemy. And then you're going to use this ramp to jump off over here, and then you're going to jump off again on this side over here. And you're going to fight some more enemies, and you're going to jump over this platform here to get to this thing. And once you get to this thing, you will gain a protection staff that basically allows you to have an orb around yourself, or a shield, a dome, that will allow the lasers to not go through so that you can allow your friends to pass through. And the reason why you need this is because you're going to use this to go through the next door over here that is blocked, and you wait for all your teammates to go through, yeah. If you want to know how to get rid of the staff after picking it up, all you have to do is hit right click. On the new pathway, you'll find more lasers to do, so make sure you go through these 2 lasers. And this will open up to a new room over here where you'll be fighting a sort of a mini-boss, I guess. You could say this is Joanne. We're just kicking Joanne's ass for some reason. It's not really a difficult fight, so there's nothing you need to know. Eventually, you'll get to another ancient Azoth sealed door that you need to open. This will be at this point on the map. After going through the door, you'll encounter a giant open area here with a lot of enemies to fight, so make sure you kill them and then head up the stairs. After you go up the stairs, you'll see there's a rock in front of you that has a blue square on it. Now this rock has a specific thing that we need to unlock on the other side. So you're just going to follow along the path here until you get down the other staircase on the other side, like this. Now my group did it in the opposite order, but there will be enemies here, but just follow where I'm going now because this is where you're going to want to go before you go anywhere else. So after you fight the enemies, they'll be on the right side. You'll fight enemies over here too. You're going to want to get this thing as soon as you can, another gain protection kind of arcane protection shield thing. I don't even know what to call it. I'm just going to call it arcane protection. And you're going to take this all the way to the top there so that you can access the side next to the giant square, because there'll be a button that deactivates something that your team needs to press. Any of you need to press it so that it unlocks another button that you can use later on. And now you can proceed down the same way, but this time you're going to go for the door, the Azoth door that's right at the end here, as you can see after you fight all of these enemies. So just have anybody in your group use the Azoth staff on the door. At this point you should be there on the map, and we're going to be going through the door. In this new pathway, you'll end up in this area here with another door. You can't go through that major kind of door in the background just yet. You'll end up actually killing these enemies and going to a new pathway to the right as you enter this room. It'll be the only one that you can enter, and you have to do another Azoth staff door. Now when this doorway opens, you will have a long path ahead of you. It's really straightforward and easy to follow, and it has a lot of enemies for you to kill on the way. Eventually you'll get to an area where there's another arcane protection shield place, and you'll have to have one of your team members take this so that they can let everybody through the laser barriers like that. At the end of this path, you'll find yourself back in the big-ass room that had the square on the monolith in the middle of the room, and this time we'll be fighting a mini-boss on this side. This is probably the second hardest boss in the encounter in the entire expedition, but it shouldn't be much to deal with. If you are capable and easily defeat this one, the last boss will be super easy for you to defeat. Just make sure you kill the bosses as fast as you can, and also all the ads or the extra monsters that he keeps spawning in as well, and make sure you try dodge arcane orbs by having the tank face him towards a direction where he's not looking at the entire group. Once you've killed this mini-boss, you'll want to go to that shrine thing right behind him over there, that blue thing. You'll be able to pick up something from it that you will use for a door later on. Now there's also a chest here that you can loot, but the major direction that you're going to go through is not down this direction. You're actually going to turn around and go behind you, going back all the way you came to that magical purple looking big door, and there will be some new enemies that you can fight along the way before you go through the door. Now whoever interacted with that blue shrine and picked up the Blessed Obelisk Key will be able to open the door just like this. And this pathway will lead you to the final boss, and you will have to fight this dude. Now this boss has two phases, so first, when you actually beat him the first time, he'll actually resurrect himself and you'll fight him again. In the first phase, it's quite simple. He swings his sword around, smacks around, make sure you're not standing next to the tank when he's hitting because you will take damage, and also make sure you stand in the healer's heals. He does every now and again throw a bone shard that will spawn enemies as well, skeleton enemies that you can kill. You can kill the bone shards when they spawn here, but they're not so important right now. It's actually easier to just kill him and focus him down. Now the second phase, after he dies for the first time, is a little bit more difficult because he will end up doing this jumping thing that creates a shockwave around the entire room. I recommend having your healer put down the healing sacred ground area, and you kind of just stay in there and just keep healing and have the whole group just stacked for this healing as he does this, because it's really hard to damage him while he's jumping around like this. He doesn't do it the entire time, so just wait for this phase to end. Now in this phase, he will throw these bone spikes all around the room. He'll throw multiple ones of them. You want to focus those down and also kill all the skeletons that he spawns so that it doesn't overwhelm the entire group, because it might aggro the healer, and if you don't want your healer dying, you're going to want to kill all the skeletons. They're quite easy to kill. Just make sure you get rid of the bones as well. Just clean up the entire room. And then when you get a chance, put as much damage on the boss as you can. If you are struggling to get the boss down because you're focusing too much on the other stuff and your group is a little bit too low level, make sure one DPS then sticks on the boss the entire time, and the other two DPS focus the skeletons and the bones, so that your boss is at least going to be dying during this entire fight. And then this is basically it. The boss will then just repeat this pattern over and over until you kill him. So yeah, good luck, have fun, I hope you enjoy it, and that is everything you need to know about the Starstone Barrows Expedition in New World, and good luck with it.